Welcome to We're Talking Bears,
where we bring you the latest in the Chicago Bears experience.
I'm Uncle,
Nephew,
and I'm Son,
and we're talking Bears. Are you back in town, huh?
Yeah. I came back. Just came back same day.
Oh, damn, no.
Yeah, because you was out there at the Colts facility, right?
Yeah. They treated me pretty nice, man. Even though I'm in all blue, you know. it was a good practice.
Yeah, I heard Justin Fields lit it up though. I was seeing.
You know what? Unfortunately, from the angle that I was at, I couldn't see a lot of JF. I was by the offensive lineman, and the offensive lineman looked good. What was amazing, Wright is not one of our biggest offensive linemen physically. He may be the strongest one, but he's physically not the biggest. Matter of fact, he's kind of physically close to Cody Whitehair.
Yeah.
So,
like from the videos I've seen, it's like
I'm standing right now. I mean, literally, everybody else, literally, right. When he stands next to the tackles, he's one of the smaller tackles.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. He's they probably just pump his numbers up based on how he plays. But when I mean, literally, I'm standing right there within 10, 15 feet of him. I'd say out of the, 15 or so linemen that were working out, he's probably 10th tallest. And he didn't, yeah. So I'm like, but, he's right. He's
the best one.
Man, I'll take it.
Man, he's a beast. They look good. The linemen look good. The workout looked good. The way they were hitting the pads, practicing their double teams and shedding the double teams, practicing, ducking under blocks to get out, practicing. It was a beautiful workout. Unfortunately, I couldn't see a lot of fields. I saw his completions because a lot of them were coming towards us. So, trying to look between the linemen to see what was going on the field. And, the ball's flying and guys are making really nice grabs. And, our ones, across the board, and I consider like we've got 3 number 1 running backs, our ones across the board are making grabs like crazy. They're shaking people, making grabs. As you fall down the lineup, your secondary level of receivers and tight ends and everything didn't have the same ability to get loose and get the ball. Like Komet's a real straight line guy. You know what I mean? He doesn't, a lot of guys you'll see shakes and moves and spins and all kinds of stuff going into the route. Komet's like run straight turn, but he runs straight turn. Fields puts that ball out there where only he can get it, and he's grabbing it. Yeah. And it's just it's you're watching him. It's like he doesn't try to juke you. You know what I mean? He just makes his cut.
Right.
And just, hey, I'm 6'5" plus.
So when he does pull a double move, it's gonna be even better.
Right. If he does a double, and he was, he's just like boom, 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 turn, grab, boom, 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 turn, grab. Man, I know. He's just like, stop me, I dare you.
So Bobby T's got a little more shake to him.
Yeah,
At 270, man, like, what do you expect Komet to be doing, man?
Right.
Just let that man turn and run.
Right.
Oh, hey, but Wright got shake.
Darnell Wright.
Man, that boy, we were all like, wow, he can move. Like even like some older lady in a Colts jersey was like, that guy can move.
Hey, that's good to hear about.
He can move. Right? You can just, you're just like, dude, that guy's. But look, we look at the Colts had a lot of good reps. They were out there to prove they were men too. They weren't about to be just, run over. But our number ones won a lot.
That's good. That's good.
You know, won a lot. Our number ones won a lot. And think about it. Tremaine he didn't practice. So you're talking about, you know, a guy that's out there that's as tall as Komet, who's patrolling the middle of the field. You know, you flip the script, somebody comes with a 6'6" tight end, he tries to go across the middle. Edmund's like, dude, I'm 6'5". I got this. You know, so it's not going to be simple for them.
Right.
But man, we look good. We look good. I like the practice. It was tough practice. It was very, very physical. They weren't tackling, but a lot of bodies were flying. It's like
I heard they were hitting Fields a little bit.
They knocked Fields down a few times. There was
That's not okay.
That's not okay.
My red jersey is there for a reason, man.
He actually wear orange.
Orange jersey, cool. Yeah, man, that's not cool, man.
Yeah,
other team too, especially. That's really not cool.
No. It was physical. One of their guys ended up injured, and maybe it was the guy that hit Fields.
Oh wow! Hey, well, we did.
That's karma for you. I hope nobody got injured and nobody take no serious injury.
No, one guy did get carted off. A Colt got carted off the day I was out there, and yeah, well, you know, if you hurt Fields when you're not supposed to touch him, and Jenkins happens to come through, stuff happens. You know, I'm not saying Jenkins did it. I'm just saying, you know. Right, Jenkins that dog.
Are you gonna go hold him accountable for it? I'm not walking over there. Jenkins do something, I'm gonna be like, good job.
So
no matter what he do, whether I'm agreeing with it or not.
I'm telling you. So it was beautiful. It was just it was great practice, beautiful practice. Hey, and everybody know that we have something special at the end of the broadcast from one of our Bears. So watch till the end, and one of our Bears is going to give you something special. Man, we're just super excited for this new season. Super excited for the preseason, even this game that we played, man, against the Titans. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We're just getting started.
Man.
Honestly, man, like let's just hit that real quick because that's kind of old news at this point. We're almost like tomorrow's the Colts game. So, man, like everybody's been talking about, oh, Justin Fields, you know, didn't throw the pass downfield and the whole problem that Justin Fields has had his whole career is he has not had the help on the offensive line. He has not had the help in a wide receiver room that he deserves. Even like if y'all remember back to his rookie year when he first came in for that Bengals game, he threw that perfect bomb pass to Allen Robinson, dropped it right in his belly, and he dropped it. Allen Robinson dropped the pass that fell in his gut in the end zone. So like that's been what he's dealing with, and he finally gets DJ Moore, a receiver who could take it to the house from 62 yards out. Offensive linemen that sprint out, 3 offensive linemen on that screen to DJ Moore were like 10 plus yards downfield or 10 plus yards out of their set and blocking people cleanly, except for Braxton Jones.
It was actually 4 guys that left. So you think about it, 4 offensive linemen leave on a screen.
4 linemen that can get across the field on a screen to block for a wide receiver, to get him sprung all the way. Like Fields finally has help. Stop complaining. Like what is
but there's one more that you gotta realize on that screen to DJ Moore. 4 offensive linemen leave, which means the entire defensive line is running straight at Fields, and the whole game plan is you're not going to catch him. You're not going to get it. He's gonna be able to get to the side and release this ball. He doesn't roll and run away from the screen. He rolls toward the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's all these things. It's like, this isn't what you normally do with a screen.
And then they did it again to Khalil Herbert, where he rolled out towards the screen, and then the lineman had so long to run out into coverage that like the defense is in scramble drill, and then the linemen are just sprinting at their face. So
and they were, you know, everybody was like, oh, did they go too far? They were just at the edge of where they could be when the ball was released. Yeah, it was actually perfect timing.
Yeah,
it could if they were one step more, the flags go up, and Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's a preseason. They'll probably be a little sticklers about that in a regular season. So tighten it up a little bit. But man, like, when was the last time a Bears quarterback had 43 yards per attempt and
Man.
158.3 passer rating? Like, when
Think
is that
about this.
recent history?
I'm
Preseason,
buying
regular
into
season?
I'm buying into what Getsy's doing, because if you look at the progression of the team, last year we're #1 run team in the NFL because our linemen got out, got in space, and took on and made their initial block, and then got to the second level and made the next block. Now we're using that for screen pass. We're finally back to the screen. Matt Forte with the longest screen in Bears history. I mean, we finally come back to the screen. And we've got linemen that are used to sprinting out. And we've got linemen running 20, 30 yards downfield and making open field blocks on guys that weigh 100 pounds less. That is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Because that guy just, he should be able to juke past you, but he can't. Because our boys, they may be big, but they're moving fast, and they're agile, and they're squaring up, and they're hitting you 20, 30 yards downfield, even on the Khalil Herbert and, on the DJ Moore play. All DJ Moore needed was a window, and he looked like Justin. He outran the whole team.
And let me say, like as a DB, the last thing you want is some 400-pound dude sprinting at you at 20 miles an hour. Like, you don't want that. That's not a problem you want. I would rather just lay down than take that hit to the face. Honestly, nobody's paying me $1 million to eat that. So, that's not fun for DBs.
No, and the fact that Justin's so agile and so hard to bring down, that part of the game plan can be, hey, take 3 offensive linemen, send them downfield.
Yeah,
because it's going to be a touchdown. I mean, how can you, like you said, there's a wall coming. This is almost like, back when Urlacher or somebody used to pick the ball, when Nathan Vasher would pick the ball. And as soon as that ball hit his hands, Urlacher and Briggs are calling for to escort him into the end zone. And, you got Briggs, Urlacher, and, Alex Brown or somebody escorting you. You're going to make it all the way. They're going to clear. And we're going to do this a lot this year. And there's not much you can do to stop it, because if you really try hard to stop it, I'm sure Fields can throw across the entire field. I'm sure there's a receiver waiting in the wing on the other side for you to send everybody to that side.
The craziest part is, if y'all remember the Vikings game last year, right? When Fields ran off for that touchdown and the sports books hadn't accounted for all of Fields' rushing yards, so they called it back. Do you remember that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they threw a flag. And on that play, I'm pretty sure that was a screenplay. So imagine y'all rush to that side of the field and you see Khalil Herbert leaking out and everybody in the defense reacts and you all rushing down on the screen and then Fields just goes the other way and runs off for a touch. Like, what do you do?
What do? You can't. I am so excited for this season with the weapons we have. This is gonna be phenomenal. We're competitive, and once we picked up Ngakoue, think about this: we got 8 sacks in the Titans game, and Ngakoue didn't play.
Right.
We get the kid from Kennesaw State, the first NFLer from Kennesaw State, got the first sack from Kennesaw State.
Yeah. In the preseason, we want to see.
It's the preseason, but I want to see him get one in against the Packers. Take Jordan Love down.
All right.
Get it in the record books.
I want to see everybody get one against the Packers, man. Their fans are talking so much smack about Week 1, man. I'm so tired of it.
I can't imagine. Look, I can't imagine.
Yeah, like, man, they just really had their heads blown up from lucking into 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in the past 2 decades or whatever the heck it's been. And it's embarrassing, really, because they only got 2 friggin' Super Bowls out of 40 years of good QB play or whatever it was, 30 years. So, I mean, that you should be embarrassed about that personally, but I mean, never mind. I can't wait until we're stomping them weekly in and out again, like we were in the mid 2000s. So,
hey, we are physical on both the offensive line and defensive line. We have one of the best linebacker cores in the NFL. Don't tell me linebackers don't count, because people are about to find out.
Of course they do.
They're about to. First of all, do you really want to get hit by a bunch of 240, 250-pound guys running at full speed? Is that part of your game plan? Like, I'm going to have my guys get annihilated. And Brisker's a hitter.
Brisker is definitely. Man, did you see how Kyle Gordon opened the season?
Gordon's a hitter.
Oh my God.
Gordon is a hitter.
Swinging for the fences. Loved it.
Gordon's a hitter. Tyreek, especially even at Colts practice, Tyreek is taking on their number one. Like, come on, give him to me, because he's practicing against DJ Moore. Like, I practice against DJ Moore. You ain't got nothing.
Right. And you know what's crazy, man? The people talking about Justin throwing the ball down the field, I'm not really worried, because last season the complaint was that he's holding the ball too long, or he's missing the check downs, and he's doing it. It's like, man, that's what I want to see. Get rid of the ball, take the yards. If your guys are going to make plays like that, give them the ball and let them make plays. That's what they're here for. That's what they're here for. When it's time to throw the ball downfield, we'll see it. But other than that, let's let these guys work. Let's let them work. I don't understand how last year you complained that he's missing passes, he's missing the check downs, and holding the ball too long. Now he's getting rid of it. In the first 3 passes, they're screen plays, short plays that go for touchdowns. I feel like that's what we want to. That's what I want to see.
You know what?
The points on the board. I'm not into the flashy. We only want to see long passes. Then you complain, like, oh, we don't run enough. It's always a complaint from the fans, from the peanut gallery, as they say. But I'm excited about what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if Justin is healthy all season, which I think that we all hope he is, 3,400 yards in the air, 900 to 1,000 yards on the ground, and
if he does that, he'll be only the second player in NFL history to throw for 3,000 and rush for 1,000, and that was Lamar's MVP season.
Yeah, and I think if he does that, he's north of 30 touchdowns.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, north of 30 touchdowns.
I think at this unit, I don't think you can keep him under 30 touchdowns, man.
Like,
But hold on, wait, because there is a new development, right? So I heard at the NFL owners meeting that they had this offseason, what they determined was there were 2 new rules when it concerns the Chicago Bears specifically. Is any touchdowns that were not thrown directly into the end zone where receivers ran after the catch don't count towards Justin Fields' official stats. They only count towards the receivers. And then whenever Chicago is kicking on a play that Justin Fields set up, they are allowed to use like a tractor to move the goalposts.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget. There's one other rule. So when Justin Fields is actually running loose and scoring the ball, that the ref can just blow his whistle because he's running too fast. That's the play is dead. Yeah. So you can be running full speed downfield, run away from everywhere. And if the ref blows his whistle, immediately he has to stop right there. Ball's dead. Because it's not fair. It's not fair. It's unfair to the league to have a guy with this much talent on one team.
Man.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. They really got to preserve this Chiefs dynasty. Obviously, Caesar Sportsbook has had a little bit of time to try to catch up, but they're still behind. Justin Fields is still like minus 2,000 on MVP voting, so they're going to lose a lot of money this season, and they're trying to just reel that back a little bit.
Right.
Bring it in. Hey, I am super excited.
Live information for you here on We're Talking Bears. We got the inside scoop. All of what's going on.
Oh yeah, hey, this is top tier reporting.
Can't you see?
Top tier.
In real news though, or rather a real topic. I really am a little bit concerned about the D-line. I did hear some good things out of the camp, but watching back everybody's reps in the preseason, obviously, you're not doing like you're not running a preseason game like you're running a regular season game. But I really am going to be watching them hard to kind of determine how much success this team has. It's really going to come down to them, I think, because I think the linebackers are set up to succeed regardless if the D line is good or not, because of the way that they're going to be playing. But in the secondary, I think is set up to be feisty and tough and aggressive. But if the D line is still not generating enough pressure on a consistent basis, and I saw a lot of reps where everybody got stonewalled. There were a few where people got through and there were sacks and there was pressure up the middle in ways that there weren't last year. But
8.
Yeah, I mean against backups though. Against backups.
Yeah.
So
well, you got to beat the backups.
Wasn't good. The Titans line wasn't good last year. So I mean, I really want to just see where we're at during real live game action, because
hey, we're gonna see some of that. Indianapolis's line is better, so we're gonna see some. The other thing, remember, we didn't, you got a lot of rookies that are learning, that were out there and getting stuff done. You just got a lot of physical freaks that we have, and I don't think, we don't have to get there Khalil Mack fast. We don't. What we can't do is have our cornerbacks covering for 4 to 5 seconds every play.
Right.
And I don't believe for a second we're in danger of that. We have big, strong guys that are going to push the pile some direction. They may not even tally a ton of sacks. Let's say, we go from 22 sacks to 44 sacks. We get 40 sacks. We get 40 sacks. I'm 100% satisfied. Think about it, that's like barely 2 sacks a game. That's less than 3 sacks a game. We get a sack a half, 30. We get 34 sacks. I'm satisfied, because there's gonna be a lot more hurries and pressures, because A, our coverage is good, really good, and then B, because of that coverage, that quarterback he may not get taken down, but he's got to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
He's got to get rid of the ball. And so that means that our cornerbacks aren't covering for forever. They can't. Last year, you could stonewall our guys and cover forever. You can't stonewall all 4 of our guys. I don't care who's out there. With Billings, with those guys, Dexter, those guys are coming through. You're not stonewalling them. And Ngakwe's good for 8 a year, for sure, every year of his career.
Yeah,
so
Ngakwe makes me feel a little bit better about the group, honestly, as a whole. But I still am because maybe also DeMarcus Walker hasn't been out there. He hasn't
been out there either. And Travis realizes when he got dropped to the bottom of the depth chart, he realizes he's playing to play, because they're not gonna. If Travis is cut, he's cut. He's not going to the what do you call it? I'm drawing a loss. Practice squad. He's not going to practice squad. He's been around too long. Why would you? If you say
Travis off of waivers,
they will. But I'm saying he's playing right now to prove that he should be in that group, and he's going to play this year for a contract, because they brought in 2 guys above him. He was the starter last year. You brought in. He's trying to, and he was playing like it. And honestly, you got to beat the guy in front of you. The other thing about what happened is in preseason there's a lot of man-to-man. Beat the guy in front of you. If they, Ngakoue is the guy to get loose if they double team him or come after him, right? You only got 5 offensive linemen. You got to block 4 guys. And if you get guys strong as Billings and Dexter, have fun. Have fun trying to block them one-on-one. I'll take that bet. I think physically we're strong enough to push the pocket.
Yeah, I think part of the issue last year was we couldn't collapse the center of the pocket. And with Dexter and Billings now, I think that's less of an issue. Like Armon Watts last year was not it. Justin Jones really had nobody next to him, so they double teamed him, and he was playing the nose like every play. So, I mean, I'm hopeful that the rookies will show up, you know what I mean? But like, what does a good rookie season look like for a defensive tackle? Like 3 sacks, 4.
Hey, that if he gets 4, that's more than
he would
anybody
have
on the
led the
team last
defensive
year.
line. Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
like that would be a great season for a second round pick who didn't play like a single gap scheme in college.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would
So
be
give me 4.
Pickens has that rush, but his scouting report looks very accurate. Where like if you run at him, he's just washed out of the game. He's just not there anymore. Like he will be 8 yards downfield. So if you double team Pickens and push him out the way, there's nothing he could do. Um, the issue with Justin Jones is we haven't really seen him play at an elite level. I think 3 sacks is still his career high, even though he had a good number of pressures last year. From a 3 technique, we really don't have anybody that's going to sit there and get 7, 8, 9 sacks. And like, that's going to be the guy who's really running this defense and making this tick. Because if you don't have that interior pressure, if you don't have that in a cover 2, like you can just send the ends around the edge. They're generally lighter and speedy, so they'll rush the edge, and then you just step up in the pocket.
Yep.
And if you can do that, then you know where the holes in cover 2 are. The issue is having guys that can make up for it, right? So what concerns me is that D line and making sure we got that push up the middle when the regular season rolls around.
I'm with you. All right, guys. Well, I got a hard stop. I got to get out of here. You guys gonna keep talking? Or you're gonna roll?
So what you got?
Don't matter. We can keep going.
Yeah.
All right. I'm out.
More of the game.
We're talking Bears.
I'm excited, man. I want to see a lot of the guys that we haven't gotten to see. I know we didn't see Brisker. I feel like, man, we'll just look a little bit better. I'm with you on the D line because that's gonna still be, critical. Getting that pressure on the quarterback. But I'm not gonna lie, man. As bad as we were last year, I only see us go. I don't believe we can be much worse. You get what I'm saying? So I think we'll be trending in the right direction. If we still need to make more adjustments or get a little tighter in some of those spots, then that's just what we have to do. But I think we're already trending in the right direction and moving in the right direction. So I'm optimistic about it regardless, because I already seen that we've made upgrades, so from where we were.
So where do you see like our ceiling as a defense, and where do you see the floor? Like, like rank like 1 to 32.
I'm not sure. I think like we were saying, I think our secondary is solid. I think they're ready to go. Our linebacker core has been increased. So I don't know. I think we're better than average. For me, I think I think we're better than. I think it's all going to come down to what you said. But looking at us on paper, I think we're better than average. I think our secondary is for sure. Our linebackers are for sure. If the D line is able to get some real pressure in there, like what you were talking about, and we're able to be consistent with getting pressure on the quarterback, then I think that just makes our secondary more dangerous. I think we at that point can start to get turnovers, and I think we're really solidly in the top 1/3. As far as that defense would be.
So you're saying ceiling is like what, 12, 14?
In that range, I'd probably say. For sure.
All right. And then now here's the scary question is, what's the floor? Like, say you get a key injury in the secondary and, something doesn't pan out at the, on the defensive line. Like, then what do we look like,
Well, when you talk about injuries, that changes everything. Of course.
The scary thing about that. I know.
It is.
But
I don't know. That's why I do like that. I do like that we've made ourselves a little more deeper as well, in some spots. It's hard to say what a floor can be when you talk about guys not being there. That's kind of that's tough, because the floor is the bottom. So
right, like, 30 seconds.
Technically, we can. Depending on who gets hurt, we can, keep plummeting until we fall on our face. But for me personally, I'll see somewhere between 10 and 20, regardless, ceiling and floor. I don't see us really much falling below that. I think we'll be competitive this year, regardless. I think we have the right guys in there. Of course, the next man up's not always going to be as competitive or as good as the first guy, but I feel like, for the most part, I feel like we're moving to that type of a culture where the next guy should be able to do his job. You may be missing out on the bigger name, the better player, But I don't think we should fall off that much. But like I said, injuries is one of them things where it's like, man, depending on who gets injured and how many injuries you have, you could just fall to dead last because
Yeah,
you know, you need
and
those
like
players.
obviously we're talking just about defense here, but like Poles has done a good job, I would say, of bringing in guys to be that backup that can step in and, like you said, execute and do his job regardless of not having the raw ability of the guy in front of him necessarily. Because like
Right,
in the secondary at safety, really we're pretty thin
right,
because we let go of DeAndre Houston Carson, which everybody loves him. He's been a great culture guy for the Bears for a long time. Um, but we got Elijah Hicks, who subbed in pretty well for Eddie Jackson last year, did a tough job playing behind that terrible defensive line and did it pretty well. And then this offseason, he's looked like he's taken a step forward. I liked him at Cal. He was a
yeah,
ball hawk at Cal, fell on a lot of fumbles, had like 5 picks, I want to say, in a single year at one point. And so I think Elijah Hicks has got some potential as a backup safety, but he's really kind of backing up both safety spots as the top backup there. And then really after that, it kind of falls off. AJ Thomas, I think, is probably going to be the strong safety backup,
yeah.
backing up Brisker. And he had that pick in the preseason, so hopefully he can do a good job there too. But and then corner, man, JJ goes out, which he's been known to do for a game or two at a time. Kyler Gordon, I think, nickel is probably our weakest spot in the secondary because like Jalen Johnson goes out, we could put Tyreek Stevenson in, we could put Terrell Smith on the other side, they've been competing for the job, and at least we got some serviceable depth. Obviously, Josh Blackwell from last year, he's more of a special teams guy, but he has some good snaps on defense. But if Kyler Gordon goes out, like who's subbing in at nickel? You know what I mean? That's really where I'm concerned in the secondary. As for D line, obviously if Ngakoue can't finish the season for some reason, that's going to be a real big blow because he's probably our best pass rusher. But other guys are really important too. Billings, really important.
Right.
And then DeMarcus Walker, who's been out all camp. So, and then obviously, I mean, linebackers Edwards and Edmonds are like that's indispensable to this defense at this point. So,
Right.
There's some spots where there's real concern, that we're not deep enough yet. But Poles has been adding guys, has been putting talented guys behind him. Noah Sewell. If one of the big linebackers gets hurt, then we'll get to see him and Sanborn competing and see what either of them can do. And it's Dexter and Pickens on the D line to kind of tighten that up.
Right.
So we got some backups that can that have some talent, and this is the benefit of Poles' kind of shotgun approach on the draft.
Right.
Just get a crap ton of picks and put guys in and see what they can do. I love that, because I think Ryan Pace was out here, sniping with a Derringer, trying to find some talent. So
Right.
is
Right.
we'll see how that turns out.
Where do you, outside of our rank last year? Of course, we didn't have a good O line. We were competitive though in a lot of games, even though we were losing most of those games. What do you I want to know on the offensive end? What do you think? A same question for you, floor and ceiling, offensive end. What do you think about us this year?
I mean, this is gonna like sound crazy when I say it, but I'll back it up with facts. Offense, I think we could be the best offense in the NFL. And it's partly because so ceiling wise, right?
Right.
First of all, we know that Fields can push it downfield with the best of them, right? There's really not a lot of quarterbacks who have more control over the ball placement of a deep ball than Justin Fields does. There's like maybe 2 or 3 guys that I would say are better at that specific. Josh Allen can throw it further, right? But when he throws it, he's like, I'm putting this in the general vicinity of a guy who I expect to go get it.
Right.
And it's just so far past the defense that I expect only they can go get it, right? Mahomes is like kind of similar, but he has way more like improvisation to his game. than Fields does, right? Fields' improvisation is mostly with his legs at this point. I'm not saying he can't do that, but right now that's Mahomes is kind of one of one when it comes to that. And his deep balls come because, teams try to stop him, break down, with Tyreek Hill not there anymore. They don't have that, just take the top off.
Right.
Fields' deep ball is devastatingly accurate when he gets time in the pocket and he can set his feet and throw. And I think he finally will have that time in the pocket for the first time in his NFL career consistently, right? So the deep game is going to be disgusting this year. Plus, we've got Mooney, we've got Claypool, we got Tyler Scott, we got Velus Jones. Like, we've got deep targets, deep guys that will shake anybody one-on-one, right? So, then now, though, as we saw with the screen game and just this preseason game, that short game is suddenly wide open.
Yep.
Right. And when you have the deep ball where they cannot play your guys up close because Mooney or DJ Moore will be gone for 6. And when you have that short game that you have to respect, and then when you have to keep a 7th person in the box at all times because Justin Fields is that dynamic of a threat, and you have a 3-headed monster at your running back, and you were already the number 1 rushing team in the league last year with the best running quarterback in the league with like serviceable, if not great, running backs that have just yet unproven as top guys. Like, what is the area of the field that we can't dominate as an offense? There is no situation that we can't scheme for. And I think Gessie's got the mind to scheme all these guys open and give them their looks. So I think in terms of scoring, it's just so hard to stop Justin Fields on 3rd down. It's just, you just can't get them off the field. And if that's the issue that teams have, we're going to score a lot of points. If we can keep Justin Fields upright and he's stepping out of bounds and throwing the ball away when there's nothing there, run or pass, which will be rare for him because he has so many options. I mean, it's going to be gross. Now, floor is tough because if we see growing pains from Fields, if we see injuries along the O-line, right tackle scares me. Darnell Wright has to stay healthy. Braxton Jones, we would very much like him to stay healthy. But really, we've got one swing tackle, and that's Larry Borom. Interior line, Jatir Carter. I think actually I heard polls say his name is Jatiri. So if I've been mispronouncing that, my bad. But so Carter really acquitted himself well against the Titans. Had, I think, like the highest PFF grade of our linemen, whatever. Basically, he did his job really well. I saw him laying blocks, not letting nobody through. Great job. So he gives me a little confidence at, having some O-line depth. Doug Kramer playing center. He's a little undersized, which gives me a little Mustafa vibes, but he is way, way smart and a much better mover than Mustafa has ever been. So hopefully he gives us some center depth. And then obviously Lucas Patrick. And then Tev on the other side. So really Carter is probably going to end up backing up both guard spots, if not Alex Leatherwood backing up Tev, which that's concerning. I'll be real with you. Leatherwood hasn't been consistent. So offensive line could be really thin. That could really, really hurt us if we lose some key linemen. But I think receiver, we're deep enough where an injury isn't going to kill us. Fields, I think, is mature and comfortable in this offense enough where an injury at receiver or tight end isn't gonna sink our season, kind of like it did last year with Mooney. I mean, floor. I think our floor as an offense is still pretty high. Like, obviously, excluding Justin Fields being hurt, I don't think we finish outside of the top 12 or 13 teams in points scored. I don't think we do, no matter who else gets hurt.
Right.
But I mean, in terms of like actual effectiveness, like winning games, your offense just carrying you to dubs, which we're gonna probably need. I think we can really be at the top of the league in that. I think we could be one of the offensive juggernauts in the NFL.
And you know what? I agree. I like how you broke that down because that's kind of my mentality. Last year, we were able to do a lot of great things on the offensive side and remain competitive in games. And this is with a terrible offensive line. And while it's not, we're building it, and we've made some great moves in the offseason to definitely enhance it a lot from where it was. I just don't see, like, I agree with you. I don't see us taking a step back, and we were already competitive. We didn't have the receiver room. We were running the ball. We were the number one running team. Now we've opened up areas to exploit some other parts of the game on offense and some other areas of the field. And I agree with you. I think it's going to be hard for teams to stop us. Barring the injuries to Fields and, like you said, keeping him safe. And as long as, man, if he has time and protection, it's going to get ugly this season for teams, man. It's going to get real ugly for teams. And I completely agree with you that with this team that we have now, with being able to protect Fields, we could potentially be the number one offense in the league. I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
The floor thing is kind of hard, man. I always look at the floor as like, if you drop something, what is it? It goes to the bottom.
I mean, if we got to see extended reps from PJ Walker, we could very well be at the bottom. But I think even he would be able to like work this offense, given like the similarity of his skill set to Fields, his comfortability with DJ Moore already, and just the talent around him. Like, our running back, we were the number one offense in the league, and our running back room is better this year than it was last year.
Right.
Our offensive line is better this year than it was last year. So what, are we going to be the number one rushing offense again? I would say probably we'll end up top 7 to 10 rushing, because I think we'll be throwing more. But with Fields on the field, with PJ Walker as his backup, with Roshan running like he was in the preseason, like a man possessed, with Khalil Herbert with 5-6 yards a carry or whatever the heck he was averaging. I mean, it's going to be hard to keep us out the top 10 rushing. Plus, Getsy as a coordinator has never finished outside of the top 10 rushing, whether college or the NFL. So I don't think we're just abandoning the run game. I think he is committed to that, and I love that about Getsy, that he is willing to just pound the rock at all times of the game. I think that's going to be great for us. I think Roshan and Deontay Foreman are they're going to finish a lot of games for us. I think, it's going to be 31-14 a lot, 31-21, and they're going to see a whole lot of runs. So I think we're going to be up there with that too. So in terms of score, I don't think we can go that far down. I don't think there is that far to drop.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing is that, like, when you have a guy like Fields on the field, when he's out there, he makes you defend every last blade of grass. And when you have, and then the other part is he makes you play a lot of zone, because if you're not looking at him, if your defender's eyes are in the, looking downfield at the receivers, that's 17 yards. You know what I mean? Just because you turned your head the other way for a couple seconds, then he's gone. It might be a touchdown. It might not be 17 yards. It might be 72. So because you have to both defend all of the grass on the field and play big wide zones that cover everything deep and short, like that, just all the lanes, all the rushing lanes are big and wide. All the zones for the receivers to sit in are giant. Like that just makes the game easier for everybody else on the offense. And that's an effect that we've seen other quarterbacks like have that effect, but we haven't seen it to the level that Justin Fields can deliver it. Yeah. Like, I think the closest to that is Lamar, right? Whereas he's got the speed to house call it. He's got the arm to send it. He doesn't necessarily have, I think, as big of an arm as Fields does in terms of pushing it downfield into the wind, like that 40-something yard throw into the 30-mile-an-hour wind against the Bills that just dropped right into Velus Jones's bucket. I don't think Lamar has that kind of arm, but he also doesn't have that kind of touch, putting corner fades onto, into the breadbasket on guys.
Right.
So Fields has another, like, if Lamar's arm is like a B+ arm, Fields' arm is like A-, right? And there's never been a quarterback with A++ athleticism with a anything arm. I don't think it's just ever happened before.
Right.
So, I mean, I think the sky, the ceiling is just stratospheric, dude. It's like nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts what's possible with this kid.
I agree. And I'm ready for it. I'm here for it, man. I want to see us whoop on the Colts.
Yeah, we're gonna beat up the Colts, man. That's tomorrow. It's all backups. Fields not playing. Flus confirmed that, I think, today or yesterday or something like that. No Fields, no, like, certain starters aren't going to be out there. That means no DJ Moore, probably no Tev. But I'm intrigued to see what else these backups are going to do. Who's your favorite backup that got a lot of action last week?
Shoot, man, I don't know. I like what the guys were doing. I don't know, man. I like the what was my boy with the picks? The what you say, playing in place of Brisker,
AJ Thomas.
Yeah,
AJ Thomas. He had a good game.
It was a few guys out there, man. I'd honestly have to go back and look at it again and see who exactly. But a lot of the guys, I like what I'm seeing, man. I like what they're showing us. I just want to see more and see who are going to be those guys we can rely on, guys that are going to be there to make big plays for us, when they get called. So it's the time for them, man. I'm not upset about Fields not playing this week. I'm not upset about the starters not being there, because for the most part, you know what you got in your starting guys, the guys that we know, regardless of what happens and what anybody else shows, these are our guys. So you get what I'm saying? Right. We don't really need to see them all the time, but to be able to see what our backups will look like and who else is going to be able to impact the games for us outside of the ones that we know, our go-to guys. So
I'm really interested to see how that plays out, because that depth is going to be important, like we just talked about. Making sure that we can really push this. And I heard somebody said Ryan Poles was he was on the fence about whether he was signing a DN, the extra tight end, and he was like, I'm only doing that if we're like ready to compete right now.
Right.
And the fact that we now have Ngakoue and Mercedes Lewis, I think is just like another sign, like he brought in capable, proven